Hey guys, what's up? Spectre here, and I'm back with all the Anthem details from EA Play at E3 2018. I'll be covering all the major points today, and covering more granular topics moving forward. Today I'll be discussing some of the details the team gave us on stage, and in my next video I'll be dissecting that sweet gameplay. Anthem is going to be a staple of this channel moving forward, so make sure you're subbed so you don't miss out on any of it. Jumping right into things, project leads like Casey Hudson and Kathleen Rochard got on stage to fill us in on some major details. There was a huge emphasis placed on story this time around, and some answers to our burning questions. One of the biggest concerns seemed to be how can BioWare pull off a compelling narrative with player choice in a game that's inhabited by other players? It's an issue games like Destiny have failed to deal with. To put it simply, there will be a two-pronged approach to story in Anthem. There are the emergent gameplay moments and player stories you'll experience as you quest with friends, shooting and looting your way across Anthem's massive world, and then there is the single-player experience back in in-game hubs like Fort Tarsis. Their wording made it sound like there would be multiple hubs, cities, and/or bases, another little thing I'd like to point out. When you go back to the in-game hubs, the game will switch to a cinematic first-person experience rich with cutscenes, player choice, and visual and narrative consequences to those choices. It's here where you're going to experience important narrative moments. When asked about it, Casey stated that Anthem would not be an MMO with story bolted onto the side. Players won't only see the overarching narrative play out in bases, however. They will see marks on the world as a whole in multiplayer events that change the physical landscape of the in-game world. Shaper Storm seemed to be one of those events, as the trailer shown at the segment's opening allude to a large storm that will change everything. From what we saw in the gameplay and what we heard, the world seems lively, vibrant, and massive. As javelins flew about the air, you could see bird-like alien creatures and expansive gorges. According to Kathleen, we will also experience a dynamic weather system complete with seasons. This is meant to be a realistic living world. We also got a bigger peek at the various javelin suits, or javs as I call them. Can we make that a thing? Anyway, we saw more archetypes this time around. The familiar Ranger and Colossus made an appearance, but we now have names for the Interceptor and Storm-class javelins. Interceptors seem to be the more roguelike of the bunch, reminiscent to Destiny's Hunters, and Storm-class javs seem to be the magic users or warlocks. The project leads were also careful to remind players that the suit does not make the player. We are not locked into one class, and can switch suits as we please in order to complement our teammates. While suits don't make the players, players do make the suit. We'll have cosmetic skins and paint jobs for our javs, as well as loot that will change the shape and look of our armor. Talking about customization brought up the burning questions of monetization in Anthem. There'll be vanity and cosmetic items for sale, but we will never have to deal with chance. Therefore, there will be no loot boxes. Players will always know what they're buying, and will never be able to buy power. BioWare is committed to creating a full experience out of the box. Anthem has been designed and structured to be supported long-term, with more stories for years to come. Some narrative tidbits came about in conversation, although some details remain vague. The Dominion, an ancient enemy seeking to weaponize the Anthem of Creation, seems to be our common enemy. What exactly the Anthem of Creation is still unknown. We also learned about the overall conflict taking place across the planet in Anthem, a world where gods have left their tools of creation and terraforming behind, and control over those tools hangs in the balance. The world itself seems to be tearing itself apart with mutated creatures and freak shaper storms. And finally, we have a release date at long last. Anthem will hit PC, PS4, and Xbox simultaneously on February 22nd, 2019. And that's it for Anthem at E3 so far. As I've said earlier, I'll be covering Anthem moving forward through release and beyond. In my next video, I'll be further dissecting the gameplay we saw on stage, giving you a closer look at the vehicles, weapons, abilities, and moment-to-moment gameplay of Anthem, so make sure to stay tuned for that, and sub if you like what you saw today. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.